Right, my friends, welcome back to the Irons United channel, and it's that time of the week again that we do a match day preview, and it's a massive one this weekend. We've got Spurs on Saturday, early kickoff. Cannot fucking wait for it. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about Bolton last night. We beat them 3-0, went through in the cup. What did you boys think? Go on, Luke. I'll get you to give me your two pennies worth first, and then maybe Anton can let me know what he thinks as well.
Wasn't too bothered about it really. I think a cup at a stage in the season is quite a bonus really. So I'm more inclined to watch about Spurs. So last night I wanted to literally get everything done with. No injuries, goals galore. Fair enough. It was brilliant to watch them, the goals. But I think that Bolton were never in the races. I think they just turned up to try and lose by as little as they could. 1-0 would have done us, to be fair. But I won't say no to the performance. Apparently, I've heard some good reports, especially on Twitter from the likes of Sullivan and Sons and all that. An out-of-pitch man-of-match performance, a wonder goal from Masaku, clean sheet by Adrian, 125th appearance for the club. It's like, well, why can't we do that in the league? So,
It would be nice.
It's one of them. So, it's a train for me. It's a training game for Spurs. If you can kind of look at it from a Championship club, bottom of their league. But in saying that, it's good to go through this next round. Hopefully, we get someone like United home or something like that. So, looking forward to a good cup run, hopefully.
Yeah, I know you've just come back off your holidays, Ant, but I'm sure you've probably read a little bit on Twitter and whatnot. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I can replicate quite a lot of what Luke said. Just excited to see. I mean, I'm wanting to get onto the Spurs game as well, to be honest. But one thing I did take from it was maybe the fact that if you look at our previous year's performances in the League Cup, we'd have probably struggled against a Bolton team, maybe 1-0 or 1-1 going into extra time penalties. So to get 3 goals, it's a good confidence boost for the team. It's a good confidence boost for the squad in preparation for the big, massive game coming up at the weekend. But I'm excited to see players like I've written it down, Haksabanovic play and Arnautovic play.
Yeah. Good effort. That good effort.
So good to see players like that on the pitch playing and giving youth a chance as well with Nathan Holland. Yeah. So I think Dan, you had mentioned earlier on that someone who'd been to the game had said that some of the players were just looking really good last night.
Yeah, my wife's cousin, basically, he went with my brother-in-law last night, and they said we dominated from the off. 3-0, could have been a lot more. Should have been 5 or 6. We really should have gone for it. But yeah, that young lad who you just mentioned, I'm not going to try and butcher that name. Apparently, he looks mustard. Apparently, he's really good. He's only young as well, but he's apparently he tried a little bit too hard at times. Did a little bit too much, but he was trying to impress. But he said that Rice came on as well and played centre-back, and he looked better at centre-back than he did as a holding midfield player. So I think that's quite positive with, the ageing legs we've got at the back and the injuries that we've got. So, but yeah, good performance all in all. Went 4-4-2 at some points as well, which is nice to see that he's willing to play 2 ups up at times. So, yeah, good result. But I guess what we're here for is the Spurs game. So let's crack on with that. Now, we are in a decent run of form, I guess we can say. 2 wins and a draw in the last, 3 games. Clean sheets as well to boost. But Spurs, dangerous team, good away from home. What we thinking, lads? Go on, Ant. What are you thinking about this weekend? You nervous? I know we've got a good record against them as well of late, but
yeah,
it's going to be a big one.
I'm always nervous when it comes against any team, to be honest. But I'm looking at the stats here. Tottenham have played 5, won 2, drew 2, lost 1, scoring goals, 7 goals and conceded 3. West Ham have scored 4 and conceded 10. I'm excited for the game. It's live on TV. It's a great London derby. This could be one of 2 things. The big kick up the arse the squad needs and could give us that boost for the rest of the season. Or it could just fall flat in our face. And for me, what's key for this game is going to be who starts and in what position they start in, to be honest. I think we'll probably touch on it later on about Hernandez and where he should play. I don't know if people are agreeing with me, but for me, he's got to go up top, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Luke?
Well, last season when we played them at home, I was absolutely buzzing for it. Mainly because we kind of had nothing to play for. We were safe, and it was kind of going to be our last hurrah for a big London derby, see us out for the season. And Spurs were kind of chasing the title not that we're going to get there past Chelsea, but they're still going for it. I think that emphasis with the fans, it was like the atmosphere was going to be cracking regardless of, what's going on elsewhere. And the 1-0 win just cherry on top. That was to end Spurs' run. This season is completely different. It's right at the start of the season. Spurs, for me, are bossing it, just not maybe as good as they were going to hope, because the Manchester clubs are ripping teams apart left, right and centre. But Spurs, when you look at them this season, they're worrying me to a point where, last night they only just got past Barnsley and they're maybe not making Wembley their home, but it's still ridiculously dangerous all over their team. If any of their players on their day will just take any team apart. But as you say, it's the London derby, so it's one of them games where I think it depends how we approach the game momentum-wise. I think if we go in there looking to defend and keep a clean sheet like we kind of have been doing over the last 2 league games, we could just be asking for them to just take pop shots and score as many as they like. I don't think the fans are going to allow that. I think the fans are going to make their voices heard and say, no, hold on, we don't just want a clean sheet now. We don't mind if we lose 2-1 or whatever. We want to see some performance. We want to see some sort of attacking approach. And I'm not saying we're going to go like we did last night against Bolton, because that's Bolton and they're in the Championship. This is Spurs. It's a completely different kettle of fish. But we have to think about the formation we're going with, because okay, we've got to go 3 at the back and keep a clean sheet. But if we're going to go for Carroll up top and just long balls, I don't doubt that within 5-10 minutes, the defence that Spurs have got will just completely read everything about that. And as good as Carroll is when he normally gets to every single header he can, he might not. He might suffer. He might get an injury. He might just succumb to a bit of impatience because he can't beat it. So I think we're going to need to use wing plays, and with Arnautovic coming back, and Antonio as good as he is, they both need to play, and possibly, and Mendes might need to start. Just to freshen it up a bit, because I can see Spurs thinking, well, he's going to play Carroll up top, so that's easy. Route one ball, let's just go with that one. There's rumours that Noble could be coming back because he made his comeback last night, and he could be starting in front of Kyoto Obiang. That worries me, because I'm not sure Noble's up for that kind of game so soon. Creswell, if he plays, he needs to learn how to cross the ball again, because so far this season, I don't know if he's beaten the second man. So it's worrying to me. Last year I was really up for it. I was really going, yeah, Spurs at home, stop them winning the league, make it definite. And this time round I'm going, well, I hope we don't get beat by too much. And I'm not normally like that. I'm really optimistic normally, but hopefully we get a bit more attacking approach rather than being scared to concede.
Yeah. I think they're better on the road this season because they know they're struggling to win at Wembley. They just don't win there very often. They managed it in the Champions League, didn't they? But struggled last night again. And I think that's why they're just playing to full potential on the road. They've got a dangerous team, and it does worry me. I think the team he picks that's the make or break where this one's concerned. He can't go with Carroll, in my opinion. Spurs have got, probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive centre-back partnership in the league. I think they'll gobble that up all day. They will just love that. Oh, you're just going to ping it 60 yards diagonally at me. I'll have that all day. And the thing is as well, they've got Davinson Sanchez. So if they decided to go 3 at the back, he's mustard. Watched him in the Champions League last year. He was unbelievable. I just think their defence is too good to be, using a tactic like that. I think we've got to go with something a little bit different. And I'd like to see Chich through the middle. But I'm more nervous this season because it's come so early. This is the sort of fixture I like to see later on in the season when there's more at stake. Last year, you can imagine, you can paint the picture. Noble in that dressing room saying, "Come on, boys, we do them tonight. They don't win the league." He's West Ham through and through. He loves beating Spurs, so you can see how that would have worked out last year. We ain't got that luxury this year. It's come early. It's not great. Both teams are sort of in similar form, I guess you could say. So it's going to be an interesting one. But formation and players, that's what's going to win it if we manage it. And on that subject, I guess we should really talk about who we think could be the difference makers. For each team, I think we're all agreed that Carroll is probably going to be more of an impact player. He'd be a weak link for us if we played him, straight away. But do you think we have to bring in, a different tactic? Do you think, Arnie has to come back? He was good last night. I'll throw it at you first, Luke. Who you think could be the difference makers if we really are going to take all 3 points from the game?
Well, the first thing I've been reading on all over Twitter today, there's been loads of players' interviews and everything, the reaction from last night, and it's like when we win, we really do milk it, which is quite funny. But it's we love to tell the fans we've won something. But I was reading something on Declan Rice, and I actually didn't know that he's a natural centre back. Now, this may be me being a bit naive and a bit ignorant of the reserve team over the last couple of years, but apparently he's a natural centre back. And last night with Bonner, them two, there was nothing getting past them. And apparently, 18 years old, he looked like a 30-year-old veteran, which is really good to hear. But he was asked if potential of getting picked by Bilic to start on Saturday, and he said it would mean everything to him. It would mean Christmas come early, something like that. I don't care how professional the game is. Like how much money you're getting paid. A kid like that, okay, it could go the other end. It could go the other extreme. It could be too nervous or too excited and make a rash tackle or something along them lines. But I want to see some passion in the team, and for that game with the fans behind them, you can't go wrong. So for me, probably I would go with a defensive. But even though he's played really, really well, my defensive backline would be Bonner, Reid, and Rice. I can't really have Noble in the midfield with that defensive midfield, but that would definitely be my back three. Gonna have to stick with Creswell for the league because he hasn't really put a foot wrong. We have kept clean sheets, and for my mind, apart from Arnautovic, he's the only one who can take a free kick or a corner. He's been great. Hopefully, he improves on Saturday. But I think kind of keep it as it has been for the last 2 games as much as we can change around as possible. I know we've got Arnautovic back, so possibly shove him onto the wing. I cannot. I'm sorry, Bilic. I know you've probably been shoehorning Hernandez onto the left wing for the last 2 games, but you've got no excuses right now. Hernandez got to start for me, just to mix it up a little bit. Apparently he's predictable last night, but the guy's been there, done that. He's got the experience. Antonio on the right wing. It'd be interesting to see if he gets knocked off this time because I think he'll be a massive asset on the right, just everywhere. His pace and prowess, and possibly. I don't know. There are rumours that Haksabanovic could be. Please, I'm saying his name right. He had such a good game last night. He could be potentially starting as well, or at least getting a bit of impact on the bench. So I'd like to see him come in if Lanzini's not going to move around for a little while. But definitely get Declan Rice in there, and maybe Noble if he has to be on the bench as an impact player. But yeah, definitely Rice at centre back for me.
I think one of the things that I've looked at is Tottenham's passing completion is like 86%, and if we keep playing the way we've been playing, they're just going to tear us apart. But there's one thing I do say is like currently the way we're playing is not particularly do you know what we've been doing it for the past couple of seasons, changing tactics, trying to fit one forward and not play the 2. Listen, we've got a potentially informed Carroll and a player that we've been crying out for years in Chicharito. Why not just put the 2 of them up top? Yeah. For me, this is the most perfect. I feel like we're playing to the strengths of our midfield because we've got so many midfielders in there, and we need to try and play to their strengths. And now we've got a right back, and we need to play to their strengths, and then we need to play to all the strengths of the defence. But what about the 2 forward line? Like, why don't we just go back to a simple 4-4-2? That's the way I feel. Like we've got Carroll on his day. They're going to be panicking when the balls, like you said, Dan, are getting flung in there. But then if you've got a Chicharito running off him, like for me, it's the old school big man, small man, big P, little P, whatever you want to call them. But I think that's the biggest frustration. We've got 2 strikers. For me, with Andy Carroll's situation, he has been injured for so long. I'm not bothered about wrapping him up in bubble paper anymore. I just want to fire him in that team because he owes some of that back to the squad. And do you know what? If he gets injured again, he gets injured again. But let's maximise his impact in the games when he plays and put someone up top with him and just see what happens. And maybe stop playing to the strengths of the midfield because maybe sometimes that is like, let's pack the midfield with the players we've got. Surely we're confident in the players we have. I mean, you look at them there and you mentioned some of them there like Antonio Arnautovic, Kouati, Noble. I mean, I don't know if Nobiang's going to play. We've got Lanzini to come back. There's players there, so why can't we look at just putting it up top? I don't know if you guys agree with me, but for me, on Saturday, it's an early kick-off. We were all at the Tottenham game last year. The atmosphere in that stadium was unbelievable. That was one of the first times.
Best game.
Yeah, if not the only time the atmosphere in that stadium was a kind of a reminder of the fact, oh, maybe this is the right decision, because the noise in that stadium was electric from beginning to end. Like you said, Luke, Noble played his heart off from beginning to end. These are the games, like, do you know what? If Noble steps in, I kind of don't mind if he steps in for a game like this, because it's Tottenham, because I think he'll be fired up for it. I would like him to be on the bench and come on as an impact sub for me personally, but I still have not got a major issue with him starting. My biggest concern from this game, and sole biggest issue, is stop playing the player that has got a great, fantastic, amazing goal scoring record for every single club he's played for, club and country, on the wing, and the fact that we're even considering him being dropped, for me, is nuts. It's absolutely mental. Like, start him, start Carroll. That's my opinion.
Joe, I think you've got a fair point about going 4-4-2 and stuff. Like, I cannot argue with it. I don't think Bilic has got the bollocks for it at all. I just don't. He bottles it far too often. Look at the West Brom game. I know that's last weekend, but look at that. We were dominating that fixture. All he needed to do was go two up top, throw a man in behind. They never ever. Any point in that game looked like they were going to go for the jugular and try and beat us. They were there to take that point. They'd come off the back of a bad loss the week before, and they just wanted a point. They just wanted to get back to defending well, and he bottled it then. So and that's West Brom, and I don't want to take anything away from West Brom. They're a good football team. Tony Pulis has them playing some good stuff. They're well organised, but Spurs are next level. This is another step up as far as teams in the Premier League are concerned. They've got a really good team, and they go for it, and that's why I think Bilic won't be brave enough to go 4-4-2. Like you, Ant, I'd love to see it. I do think that there is so much potential in Carroll and Hernandez, forming a great partnership. We've never had someone like Hernandez to play off of Carroll. We've never been able to maximise on Carroll's strengths. How many times have we've all got tickets to go over there and watch this team. How many times have we seen a ball lumped up to Carroll? He's got up early, he's won the header, beautiful little touch, knocked down, but there's never any runners.
No one there.
And this could be the time where we finally have a player who is clever enough, wise enough.
But when was the last time we actually seen two forwards in our lineup? Two strikers. Why? Like, I guarantee, I can't guarantee anything, but if another manager was in there, not that I'm calling for Bilic's head, but if another manager was in there, the two of them would be starting from the beginning, because for me, it's not rocket science.
The funny thing is that over the last, I've noticed it over that last decade almost, probably, but the formations in most European teams, especially the top teams, has changed now. So rather than it being a distinct 4-4-2, it's now, you genuinely have your back four, which is changing now even to back three kind of thing, where midfielder pulling back. But set standards, you have your two holding midfielders, you have a one in the middle for attacking midfield, your two wingers who now tend to cut in rather than be crossers. They cut in on the opposite foot, and you have your one stickler forward top. Now, when Pellegrini was managing Man City, he brought in, when he signed Aguero, he brought in, I don't know who, if he was there when he signed him, I'm not too sure, but back then there was Dzeko and Aguero. And I remember all the pundits were saying, this is strange that a team that has to win is playing a formation that no one else is really playing. So they adopted it a few years back, and then they've adopted it again this year and a little bit last year as well, with Jesus and Aguero up top.
They're playing to their strengths.
They're smashing it. And to be fair, I think it takes one of the things where it's one team's doing it, and it just takes another team to do it as well. And possibly we are that team. Possibly we are the team to go, do you know what, we've got Hernandez here, who's a 29-year-old player, top scorer for his, like you say, Ant, top scorer for his national team. He's been here, done the job with Man United, not just any team in England, Man United, and was rated highly, still rated highly by a lot of their fans. And in my opinion, on his day, he's world class, Carroll, when he's fully fit and really going for it, full of confidence. So maybe you got to put 4-4-2. Maybe it is another way to go. To be fair, I agree with that. To be fair,
so I know this is a Spurs preview, but I think for me, I'm looking at the whole kind of.
Sorry, Ant.
No, it's fine. I was just laughing. I'm trying not to laugh. You shut up. I get so lost. I was like,
what? My dogs were like that the other night, and I literally get to go to Alex. I think I said to Alex another time, was saying, I keep thinking, please just shut up now, because me and Alex can't film this. He's got to go in bed 20 minutes for me to do this.
That noise comes out of him.
What the fuck?
Look at him. How does that noise come out of that?
I was trying my best.
Christ. Yeah, I know. You could just have carried on, but they're fucking nightmare. Right, I'll leave.
Fair enough, mate.
That's funny. That is funny, mate. I tried my best to keep going, and I kept hearing it. I was like,
I just saw Dan's face get more like agitated, going short.
They're so loud. That's the trouble with these two. They bark all the fucking time, mate. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, they'll hear a noise and it bark, and it's loud.
My two are very similar. I've got 2 Yorkshire Terriers, mate. If I tell you, my two are very similar. Can we keep this in for a bit of a comedy element? Can we keep this in, please?
Yeah, we should do.
Right, go on, Adam. Carry on where you was, mate.
Where were we?
I just talked about 4-4-2.
Yeah, and I was just about to make a valid point that I can't remember. Fuck.
You were talking about Luke was talking about City and the fact they've gone to 4-4-2, and then he was saying about how Hernandez has done it at international level and at Man United, and then you were going to say something.
Carroll and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally lost. Totally fucking gone. Where should we pick up from?
All right, do you want me to just say something?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I was trying to say because it was quite valid, but fuck.
Yeah.
Hold on, just all right. 4-4-2, Carroll, Hernandez, United, Europe, City.
All right, I'll just throw something out
there.
But yeah, like I think it's funny how formations have evolved. Anyway, we've gone from 4-4-2 back in the day, and then Luke's doing me. Cheers, Ralph.
Oh shit.
Compose yourself, Luke. We were praising you the other day. Earlier on.
I'm natural. I'm an actor. I'm in control. There are no dogs. There was no barking.
Yeah.
Right. Carry on.
Oh, you good, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You can see him though. He's doing me now. But no, you were saying, Luke, about the fact that City have gone sort of like 2 up top. They're playing to their strengths, and it's weird how formations have evolved in this country. 4-4-2 was popular back in the day when I first started going over to football. Everybody played 4-4-2, and then it's kind of evolved, and we're almost playing like the Premier League's almost turned into like a classic Italian sort of formation now, with the wing backs bombing on. All the real good Italian national teams used to play that formation, and it's become really popular. So why not break the mold? Our strength is that we've got 2 brilliant strikers. One's an out and out finisher. The other one, he's never been able to score many goals for us, and that's because his weapons are not goal scoring. I personally don't think his greatest asset is his goal scoring. It's the fact that he could probably set up numerous players if we played a formation where these players were bombing on and making that effort.
Well, listen, on top of that, though, we've got Sacco. Sacco sitting on the bench. He scored last night.
It's so good to have him back. It's so good to have him back.
But it pisses me off that he's still at the club. But if he's here, I'm going to commit to him being here. I'm not going to go fucking against him. I don't want him in our club after what he's done. But if he apologises, then I'm fine with that. The thing about it is, I'd like to actually know what the hell is actually going on with him.
Yeah. I know that apparently he has an attitude problem, but in what player doesn't these days when you tick him off a certain way? Yeah. I didn't agree in the first place when Sacco was being made to play on the wing to accommodate Carroll when Bilic first come in, or whoever was in there, and I could see why he was annoyed. And yeah, there have been things in the past like the car crash and stuff like that, and there have been things which I think, well, behave yourself, son. But he's one of them players where I've said it for a long while, is that Sacco on his day for me is more effective than Carroll, purely because I've seen him win just as many headers, but also on his feet. I don't think I've seen a more natural finisher in the last 10 years at West Ham. I watched there's a clip today on the West Ham site, which is a reminder of about 3 years ago when we played Liverpool at home. We beat them 3-1. It was one of Sacco and Valencia's first one of their first games when they joined the club. And I remember them tearing Liverpool apart. And I don't know who was manager. I think Brendan Rodgers at the time come off.
Big Sam was in charge of us, weren't he, at the time?
Yeah. I know, and that was really annoying me, because what he had to do, he had to shoehorn Nolan and Carroll back in when they were fit, and that totally dismembered all the momentum we had with Sacco, Valencia, and everything. We could have finished top 4 that year, I guarantee it, because Downing as well. Downing was at the top of that D, attacking midfield. He never played there before. Yeah. He said he was loving it. He was even going to get back in the England squad because he was doing so well there. And then it just changed. And then since then, Sacco never really had the impact that he had when he first started. And he seems to really just be kind of getting backed up. He's fit. He's scoring goal last night. He's not celebrating. He's probably got an attitude. There is something going on in the background, whether it's with him and Bilic or not. But I personally, I love the guy. And I was really kind of a bit disappointed when apparently he was going to go to Rennes on deadline day and he was already there. And I'm one of the few fans that's kind of going, I don't really care. You're still my favourite, Sacco. You're still, a bit of a fanboy. He can't do any wrong in my eyes, which is a bit stupid and pathetic. But when you score goals at West Ham, I seem to like it. So
I get your point. Look, mate, I think he is a quality player. It's just his attitude and stuff. And do you know what? When I was a kid, I never used to care about stuff like that. Maybe I'm just an old.
No, it's me.
I'm fart, mate. It's just, but
no, I think it is me.
But the fact that we've got these 3 guys there, and for me, I'm bringing it back to Carroll and Hernandez. For me, you play and the 2 unplayable guys. Hernandez to me should never really be getting subbed, even if he's having a shit game up until the 70th minute, because he's that sort of guy that if you see the 2 goals he scored against Southampton. He was there, the right place at the right time.
Natural instincts, and
that's what you need in the 90th minute. Sometimes in the 91st, 92nd minute, is someone like him to get onto the balls. Now, if you're saying I want Carroll to start, so why not start with Carroll and then bring Sacco on throughout the game? But then, if you remember, Dan, we were talking about the midfield at the preview for the Manchester United game, and we were really excited about, and we were like sitting like kid at Christmas, talking about who we were going to play and who we were going to start, and. Now that Arnautovic is back and he's had a game under his belt and he's feeling quite confident after last night. Yes, a League Cup, but winning 3-0 and bossing the game is going to do your confidence the world of good. Like, for me, it's a case of, do you know what? You've got him, you've got Antonio. Sometimes I feel like saying fuck formation and just let them 2 play where they want alongside Carroll and Hernandez and let everyone else clean up everything else.
Do you know what? It's funny you should say that, because Jack, my wife's cousin, who I was talking to earlier, was saying that he kept changing wings with the other winger, and it was like a rotation thing last night. It worked really well. He was arguably man of the match as well. He was brilliant. Set up 2 goals, and he ran the line, got back, defended, put in a proper shift apparently. So yeah, I completely agree with that. And we all know that Antonio's got it in his locker. He can play both wings if need be. His left foot's not that strong, but there's nothing to say can't cut back. Antonio on his day beats any team in the league anyway. He's mental. I can't believe how good he is. Can't believe how good he is.
For me, I would be going to Antonio, literally, do what you want. Go and play anywhere. Just do
I
what
think
you
he deserves that. I think he's earned that.
Yeah.
He does burn himself out after about 60 minutes. You see him slow down a bit, but he gives you so much in that 60 minutes.
He's doing the work of about 5 different men. So,
Yeah, he does give you so much in that 60 minutes that you don't really mind too much. Like... He's our potential match winner at every game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The stuff that he did against Huddersfield,
he doesn't get enough.
But he was unbelievable in that game. And if he can perform like that against Spurs, then we're in with a chance. Just as just with him on the pitch. But it is interesting, the formations and the players that we've got at our disposal. Like you say, and we've got Arnautovic back as well. And really, I suppose we should talk about the team. From 1 to 11 that we'd like to see and who we think Bilic is probably going to go with. I think, and obviously you want to go 4-4-2, don't you, mate? So
yeah, but I'll go with what we think
he'll go with. He's probably going to stick with the 3 at the back, isn't he? And so does Hart come back in goal? I know Adrian didn't have much to do last night, but does he come back,
For me, Hart's got to start. I love Adrian. I have no problems with Adrian, but right now I think Hart, for me, he's not really done anything particularly wrong in the games that we did concede goals. I think it was more down to the men in front of him. So yeah, I think Hart needs to be given his chance. He started the season, so he needs to continue. Have we lost Luke?
I think so.
No, I'm still here. But it's
picture.
All right, we'll just keep going. And we'll just I think Hart needs to start. I think he just needs to start. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
Yeah, I definitely think, bringing him back in, he's got a couple of clean sheets under his belt. That's good for him. We were talking, weren't we, Luke, in the preview we did for West Brom, and I shocked you and Cess with the fact he'd only kept one clean sheet in his last 23 games or whatever it was, and then now he goes and keeps two.
Yeah, he didn't shock me. He sort of scared me by reminding me.
He conceded like 80-odd goals at Torino, which is actually mental.
But to be fair, though, sometimes I know those stats are really crap, but then I think to myself, I know he was capable of calamity, but then look at his stats for Man City. Was he that bad for Man City? I don't know. Sometimes
there's only so much a goalkeeper can do as well.
Yeah.
Torino are hardly the best club in that league, are they?
Exactly. I think that's more. That move was probably more for an experience move. Hart could have gone anywhere else, but he's seen an opportunity to play abroad for a year, play in Serie A, and he can have that notch that under his belt. He's won the Premier League, so he's got a title under his belt, and he can go, do you know what? I'm going to go to Torino and just see what can happen. Live in Italy for a while and get a nice bit of sun.
Can't blame that, can you?
No.
I guess Zaba comes back in at right back. He's been absolute mustard the last few games for us. For me, he comes back in. I was surprised that he could do the wing back role so well at his age.
That's been.
I talk about him like he's really old, but apparently he's the same age as me, so he's not really that old.
But guys, I said that too when I was at the Man United game. Even though we got smashed 4-0, he was up and down that wing all day long, back and forth, and that's what he's been doing the past couple of games. So for me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, definitely. Left back is the big talking point, isn't it, as far as West Ham are concerned at the moment? I'm of the opinion that we need to stop giving it, so-and-so's better, this person's better, this one can do this one can do that. It's nice to have a bit of competition in a position, isn't it? It is nice. But who's best for Spurs? Who do you lads think's best for Spurs? We'll go with you first, Luke.
I think in general it's going to be Creswell. I would personally love to see Masako do it, just because I'm personally a massive fan. I think the guy's Masako's been labelled as a flop far too early. I think what happened is that he didn't really get many chances to play, and then while Creswell was injured, and he didn't really light up any flames. And the handball West Brom last season completely made everyone think, "Oh, you're useless, mate. What's he doing? He doesn't know what he's doing."
Just one game.
And he come back after a long injury himself as well against Everton. I always remember the game. He was basically man of the match. He absolutely tore Everton a new one. And I know we got 0-0, but it was jaw-droppingly good. The amount of times where he'd do like a pipe standard skill against their defenders, no one could touch him at all. Last night he come back and he scored an absolute belter. He's lacking a bit of confidence, I think. But for me, Creswell hasn't done enough to say since the last season at the Boleyn. I don't think Creswell's done enough for me to go, you're starting every game. That's it. If you're talking about what Creswell's impact is, the guy's taking every corner and free kick against West Brom, nothing went past the second man. So for me, it's going to obviously be Creswell, but I'd love to see Masako do it personally.
Yeah, what about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I agree with you, Luke. I think if we could get, obviously, it's the same stuff that everyone's going to say. If we can get Creswell back from the last season at Boleyn, then it's a no-brainer with him. But he's not been there. He's just, like you said, he's whipping in the ball. So he's capable of a worldie of a whip in the ball in the box.
Yeah, totally,
but he hasn't done it for a while. If we're playing this wing-back position, then for me, Masuaku probably does deserve his chance in the team, especially after coming off a decent game like he did last night. Yeah, it's a League Cup, but he's going to challenge him. And like you said, Dan, it's good to have a challenge. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had a chance to be able to say, we've got two fantastic potential left wing backs or left backs that we can pick and choose from. So it's a good position to be in. It's just the fact that I worry because we're West Ham and we probably won't be able to do that much longer unless we have lots more money and can bring in as many players as possible.
I'm of the opinion that competition for paces elevates players.
Yeah,
can make them better players. I am of the opinion that I'd like to see Masuaku turned into a left winger.
Yeah,
I think he's got all the attributes to do a Gareth Bale. I really do, especially after that finish last night.
Yeah,
he just seems so much more at ease in the final third than he does at the back. I'd like to see that happen eventually. I think this season we need that left back, but
They the club do quite a lot of these videos. You see them all online and social media networks, and you see him in training, and he's very comfortable on the ball, and that's something you don't really particularly get with maybe a left back or such.
Yeah.
He likes to take on players, and he likes to go up and down that wing. And do you know what? I think someone mentioned it on one of the previous videos. He for me, I think we should start maybe moulding him into that. That's just the thing. We get these players, and then we just don't maximise what they can do, and that's where I start to question Bilic on his decisions he makes.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Creswell's got a fantastic ping on him, but he doesn't tend to beat anyone. Doesn't tend to try and put the ball past anyone. He tends to does that bit of control where he sort of moves his whole body while he's taking the first touch, and then tries to put an actual Hollywood ball into the box. But he can be 30 yards from the box. That ball's going nowhere near. Yeah. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for this game, I'll go with Creswell. I think he's just better defensively, and I think we're going to need that. But I think Masuaku could come on if we needed something later.
I don't hate Creswell, by the way. I just I don't hate the guy. You know what I mean? I'm proper putting him down. I don't hate him at all.
Yeah, but I understand your frustrations though, Luke, because I thought exactly the same thing the last season. I thought he was not the same player at all. So I do understand that. we're going to go with 3 at the back. Ginge is obviously injured. So are we going to go with the vets, or are we going to give Rice a go? I know what you already want, Luke. You'd like to see Rice given a go. What do you think, Ant?
I think, there's part of me agrees with you, Luke. I think he should give the youth a chance. But do I think he will? No. Do I think he'll play Font, Ogbonna and Reid? Yes. Do I get excited by that? No. Do I want Rice? Sorry. Yes. So, but I think he's just going to go with the same Font, Ogbonna and Reid. Luke?
It's what you want and what's going to happen, isn't it? Because no matter what you talk about, you're just waiting for that team sheet to come out and be completely either shocked or just like predictable, basically. For me, it's going to be. I don't know. I think actually the back 3 is going to be Reid, Fontaine, and Ogbonna. But I've got an idea suddenly. I don't know where I've got it from. I've got an idea that Rice might start sitting in midfield. If you're saying Ogbonna, what I've heard as well is that Ogbonna might not start or even play Saturday for whatever reason. Kiarte and Rice, or Noble and Rice, because I mean, so far Kiarte hasn't really pulled up any trees when he's been playing. That's me. Maybe I'm just talking out my arse. I don't know, but I don't know. I just thought of it just now. Maybe Rice not centre back exactly, but maybe holding midfield. But I think for me, it's going to be more. It's a back 3. So everything you're going to play has got to step up to the game, but. I'd like to see, but I don't doubt what I want to see.
It'll be the usual 3, but there'll be a distinct lack of pace with those centre-backs, which is a bit of a worry when you think about Spurs and what they've got going forward. But, it's one of those things, isn't it? Centre mid, obviously, you've said, and you've heard rumours that one of our key players might not be playing. So does Noble come back in, or if Rice doesn't play centre-back, would you play him over Noble in centre midfield?
Again, it's the same thing. What do we want and what will we get? I'm just going to tell you what I think we'll get, which is going to be Noble. I think Noble will slip back in. I think he's come back and he's played decent last night. I've not heard too much about it, but...
He didn't look very fit, though.
Nah, but do you know what? I think to be honest, I think his legs have gone a bit more anyway. That doesn't help the fact he's been injured and he's not looking that great. But but there's no doubts about it. Bilic loves Noble. We all love Noble.
Everyone loves him. Yeah,
everyone loves him.
I love him. It's just his legs are gone. That's all.
Yeah. He's like one of them sort of them old dogs that you should really put down, but you just keep him around because he's been with you so long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see him. Starting. Look.
Yeah. I'd like him to sort of, if he plays, I really hope he has a good game. I hope he proves me. I hope he proves me wrong. That's what I'm saying. I love Noble. If I saw him in a pub, I'd go shake his hand. I don't hate the guy. I just think he's not as useful as he was, and if we're playing him, it's kind of like a sentimental thing rather than he's actually going to do the business. If he starts pinging balls around and starts putting in tackles and not actually getting yellow cards for the tackles as well, actually winning the ball at the same time, then fantastic. I'll have him all day long. Plus, he's officially the club captain, so maybe that goes with it as well.
And if he does play Luke and he plays well, again, the concern will be Bilic thinks he should start every single game from that way onwards. Which, do you know what? I don't want him to start every single game, but just if he comes in for this game, play his heart out, and then from.
But that's like any. Surely that's like any player, because if you start playing well, you just deserve to start every game anyway. So if he does play, why not play every game?
If there's one game he's going to put in a shift, it's this one.
It's this one, yeah.
Because he's as big a West Ham fan as us three.
Yeah,
he loves the club. At the end of the day, if there's one game he's going to put a shift in, it's this one. So
I do feel bad putting him down. I must admit, I do feel like I'm anti-West Ham putting him down the way.
Not me.
No, we all have to accept that his legs are gone. He's getting older. He's never been blessed with pace. Let's not kid ourselves, but it's just his decision making and everything. It's like his football brain's just decreased, over the last year kind of thing. I think Arnie and obviously Antonio, I'm sure the three of us are agreed that's what we go with there. So then the other big talking point is Carroll or Hernandez. What do you think he's going to go with? Do you think he'll be predictable?
Oh man, it pains me to say because I really don't want to say it. I don't know, who's he going to go with? I think if he is going to play one up top, he'll probably go. I think he'll go Carroll, and then bring Hernandez on, which I think it's just I don't want to say it. I just can't say it. I'd rather pass that question. Look, I'm chickening out of this one. Sorry, Luke, mate.
Cheers, thank you. Right, if you're checking in now, I'm gonna have some balls. Someone's got to. I would like to see what you're saying, Anne, the 4-4-2, in an ideal world. If I didn't think that Spurs could overrun us in the midfield and with their attacks, I think we kind of had to stop them. And then, if we're playing well, or if we need some goals, then move 4-4-2. So not just change Hernandez and replace him with Carroll. Actually play both of them together at some point, maybe after 60, 70 minutes, something like that, just to maybe rattle Spurs a little bit if we're not losing by too much, or if it's still 1-0 here and there or whatever. But I'd like to see Hernandez play. But what I'd like to see, rather than just go Hernandez is playing, hopefully he can score some goals, actually give him service. So, with Creswell, put a decent ball to the box, and Albic do what he was doing last night. Antonio actually boss the defence and just put a ball past him, spring some balls in or whatever. Zabaleta maybe ping a few in himself. I don't think it's all down to what Hernandez can do. It's what Hernandez can do when he's helped out and given some service as well. So it's Hernandez for me personally.
Yeah, well, for me, I'd have Hernandez. We won't get Hernandez. I think he gave it away last night. I think Carroll was rested. Obviously, he's had his injury concerns in the past, but I think he's rested him there. He's given him the week off, and Hernandez came on, and I was surprised that he even risked Hernandez in that cup game. And I personally think he put him on for the last 20 minutes or whatever it was to hope that he nicked a goal, to give him some confidence, where he's been having to play out on that left wing. If he nicks a goal in that game, gives him some confidence, then maybe, just maybe, he might have started against Spurs. But me personally, I think he kind of give it away. I think he's going to go with Carroll up top. And if he does that, it'll be very one-dimensional. And don't be surprised to see a change early in the second half if we're struggling. With that being said, I've already touched upon it. Their centre backs are mustard. They'll just double team him and they'll eat that up all day.
But listen, I don't have balls, but I hope Bilic has got balls and actually does put the formation in place to play 4-4-2. Again, I'm bringing it back up. It's the most frustrating thing to me. It's like we shouldn't even be discussing the discussion we're having right now. Shouldn't even be a discussion for me. That's my opinion, and we've got two top-notch players there, and Hernandez must be sitting there going, "What is going on?" He would be playing 90 minutes in pretty much most Premier League teams right now. I'm adamant of it, or at clubs around the world.
It makes you wonder what he was told in negotiations, because I can't see him going, "Listen, man, I know you played up front all your life, but you might want to start left wing." Getting used to left wing, because I can think him. I mean, it's a bit of a joke going around, but Two leagues we've done, Peter Crouch and the old, Shamrock flips and all that. But it's one of them things where you kind of think yourself, well, you've got a big man and a small man. It's predictable, but it's not, because you can kind of go, well, yeah, okay, they might play that, but they ain't gonna. So there's no point even playing him for it. Yeah. But you do it, and suddenly Spurs are like, hold on, what's going on here? They actually are doing it. So all week you've planned to combat a one-dimensional, big lump-up field, regardless, straight to a little man, making little darting runs. But yeah, it's one of them for me. You kind of think yourself, West Ham have got it there, right? It's literally there. We possibly couldn't have any excuses not to utilise this player for what he can do, but somehow we're doing it. And it's typical West Ham. We've got everything there for us, but we're going, now let's make it difficult for ourselves. Let's just do what we always do and never do anything straightforward.
Yeah. It's probably the best analogy of it, to be honest. It's exactly it. And it's been like that for years. This is before Bilic, this is before Allardyce. It's just been there. We've had players, we've had the core of the team, we've had players come in and out, and it's happened every single year. It happened over the Payet situation, it happened over everyone else. We've never maximised any of the players we've got and played to their advantage. Play every single one of these current players we're discussing and put them in that team and play to their advantage, and let's just see what happens, because every other team's doing it. To me, I don't even follow many other teams, and I know you do, Dan. And it doesn't follow them. So for your reference, please make sure you subscribe to Dan's channel. Dan, you give it a shout out.
Yeah, Fandango's links are in the description. We'll stick it on the little end screen as well, so you can just click that and it will take you over there. Basically, my channel is just football in general. I'm obsessed, so I've got my own channel. Go and check that out. Yeah, I support West Ham, but I follow all the teams. But I totally agree with Luke. Any other team in that league's got Hernandez in the team, and I'm talking about your Arsenals and your Chelseas as well. He plays. Because they know what he can do. Look what he did at United. He was unbelievable at Man United. My brother's a Man United fan. And when we signed him, he was like, that's one of the best signings you have made in many a year.
There was I know so many fans I know were jealous of me going 16 million as well. I mean, that's bargain of the summer.
In today's market, that is peanuts.
Absolutely. And our biggest bargain of the summer, best striker we've probably signed in years, is playing on the wing. Yeah. And we're considering benching.
So frustrating. It really is so frustrating. But
should be used to it right now. But
yeah, we should. As West Ham fans, we should. Yeah. But we've talked the team. We've talked Spurs a little bit. I guess we've said that they're a dangerous team. What we want, what we think Bilic is going to give us, but it's the bit that everybody wants to hear. How do we actually think this is going to go? Score predictions. And don't look like he fancies this at all right now. So I'm going to go to Luke first.
Don't. Oh, yeah, right.
Well, you're the one with the biggest bollocks, apparently, mate. So you might as well tell us your score first. So what are you thinking?
I said I had some, not how big they were. I don't know. I think last year, to be honest with you, last year I had a bet on 3-2 West Ham, and ended up being quite predictably 1-0 with Lanzini scoring. He ain't about that creativity mindset now. I don't want to say draw, but I kind of at the minute, you laugh now.
No, because I'm going to bottle it in a minute.
Yes. Do you know what? I'm going to say 2 on West Ham. We're going to concede. It's Tottenham. Kane, he's just got it in him. I can see him scoring. I think whoever plays up front will get the first goal, and then I can see maybe a winger or a midfielder that comes on. Probably Ayew will score the winner. He'll probably play left back as well, and he'll come on and he'll do it.
I'm going with a draw. I'm going with a 1-1. I just I don't know. I don't know why, but I can't separate the teams. I don't know why. We always turn up. It's just that it's our game now, isn't it? He's disappeared. It's like our game now. We seem to have their number for some reason. It's really strange as well. You think about how they've improved over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. It's scary the level they've actually gone to, but yet we still manage to do it each and every year. As they all keep saying, it's our cup final, isn't it, lads?
Yeah.
I hate that. Really hate that.
As well.
I got a Spurs fan at work, and he was giving it to me today, and I was just like, "No, it's really not, mate." And then I had to watch that. Sorry, I know I'm giving my score prediction now, but have you all seen that really embarrassing video with the Lion King music? There's a grown man carrying a doll about. What is that? You wouldn't catch West Ham fans doing that. Like, people can say what they want about us as fans, but Spurs fans are twats, aren't they? Come on.
Yes.
I'm going with 1-1 though. Can't separate it. I just feel like our team, even when we are under pressure, not in a good run of form, we turn up against this lot. And I think we'll take something from the game. I'm bottling it by saying we're going to draw. I'm not quite going with a win. I'm not as positive as some of the other people I've spoken to, but I'm going with a 1-1. I think they will nick something late. Harry Kane all day. What are you saying, Ant?
I'm going to just continue my positive prediction theme, not positive preview of the game, but I'm going to go for a 3-2 win to West Ham. I think we'll be losing 2-1 half time, and I think this time what we might see from Bilic is making the substitutions a lot earlier than what he's been doing, because I've noticed he's been doing that, I think, over the past couple of games, because he's usually leaving it to the 85th minute, all that kind of stuff, just too late. And I think that's what we'll see. It's not what I want. Well, the victory is what I want. 3-2 win is what I want.
Yeah.
But the side's probably not going to be what I want. So, yeah, 3-2 West Ham.
Nice. Very good. We all done. That is it.
That wraps it up.
Yeah, you're not going, are you, Ant?
Unfortunately, I can't make the game on Saturday, which I'm really gutted about. I just came back from a holiday. But I hope the guys, and I hope all you guys start singing and get the fans right behind it. It's an early kickoff as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 12:30 as well.
Yeah, so just try and get some beer in you as early as you possibly can. Although I'm encouraging drinking for any people under the age of whatever the rule, 18. So please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Please make sure you subscribe to Dan's channel. All the details are below. Everyone's Twitter links will be in the description below as well. And we'll have a few more competitions coming up. So, yeah, thanks very much, guys. And come on, you Irons.